Kremlin's chief diplomat will meet counterpart in Pyongyang to discuss situation on Korean Peninsula. Top North Korea official arrives in Beijing ahead of Trump-Kim summit in Singapore. Russia's foreign minister is to visit North Korea to hold talks with his counterpart about the situation on the Korean Peninsula, the Kremlin says. Sergei Lavrov's visit on Thursday comes ahead of a planned summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un on North Korean denuclearization next month. Foreign Ministry said in a statement Wednesday that Mr. Lavrov would hold talks with North Korea's foreign policy chief to discuss bilateral issues as well as the overall issues surrounding the Korean Peninsula. The move comes amid expected talks this week between a top North Korea official and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Trump tweeted on Tuesday he had great team working on. Mr. Trump had mused that Mr. Kim's attitude had changed after the North Korean surprise visit to China 2 weeks ago, suggesting China was pushing Mr. Kim away from the table. Mr. Trump's letter last week, in which he initially canceled the meeting, was designed to pressure the North on the international stage for appearing to have cold feet, aides said. White House officials maintain that Mr. Trump was hopeful the North was merely negotiating, but that he was prepared for the letter to mark the end of the two-month flirtation. Instead, the official said, it brought both sides to the table with increasing seriousness, as they work through myriad logistical and policy decisions to keep the 12th of June a viable option for the summit. The flurry of diplomatic activity intensified with Kim Jong-chul's appearance at a Beijing airport on Wednesday. South Korea-based Yonhap News cited diplomatic sources as saying the official was on an Air China flight that departed in the afternoon. He will be the highest-level North Korean official to travel to the United States since 2000, when late National Defense Commission First Vice Chairman Jo Myung-rok visited Washington. South Korea's Unification Ministry said, Mr. Pompeo has traveled to Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, twice in recent weeks for meetings with Kim Jong-un, and has said there is a shared understanding between the two. The group first met with its counterparts on Sunday, and was seen leaving a Seoul hotel on Tuesday, but it was unclear whether they went to Panmunjom, a village that straddles the border inside the DMZ. The U.S. officials are led by Sung Kim, the U.S. ambassador to the Philippines, who was formerly the U.S. ambassador to Seoul and a top negotiator with North Korea in past nuclear talks. It includes senior officials with the National Security Council and the Pentagon. The White House emphasized that it has remained in close contact with South Korean and Japanese officials as preparations for the talks continue. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said Mr. Trump will host Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan on the 7th of June to coordinate their thinking ahead of the summit. Mr. Trump hosted South Korean President Moon Jae-in last week. Mr. Moon, who has lobbied hard for nuclear negotiations between Mr. Trump and Kim Jong-un, held a surprise meeting with the North Korean leader Saturday in an effort to keep the summit alive. South Korean media also reported that a North Korean delegation arrived in Singapore on Monday night, where other U.S. officials, led by White House Deputy Chief of Staff Jo Ha-jin, are preparing for the summit. Additional reporting by AP. More about North Korea. Sergei Lavrov. Pyongyang reuse content. I accept the Independent and its partners use cookies and similar technology to collect and analyze information about the users of this website. We use this information to enhance the content, advertising and other services available on the site. Please click I accept to consent to the use of this technology by the Independent and its partners. You can manage your preferences at any time by visiting our cookies notice.